Ezra builds Lego. Another awesome AFOL that I had the pleasure of meeting while he was displaying his mocks at Brickfest Pasadena. And this thing puts the Titanic to shame. But it's not a boat, so it doesn't float. It's a ship. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but I do want to give full disclosure that some boats float and some ships float.
Yeah, sort of. I'm like 24 minutes behind supposed to get a video up, so I'm going to be doing that the same
That's
time.
totally fine. Yeah, you could just be present.
I'll be here. Don't worry. Just give me 2 seconds.
I was about to say, you were behind your schedule.
I'm aware.
All right. Okay, I'm going to bring us in 5, 4, 3. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 46 of Cali Brick Clique. The year's almost done. And like always, we got Claire down below. Oops, I have Ninja on the wrong spot. Switch.
Oh, hello. Yeah,
There we go.
Oh my God.
We got Ninja.
Yo.
Oh, wait, we see a hand. There's a hand reveal. There's a hand reveal.
I had to look up. I was looking down a little bit.
And then right before I introduce this man right here, remember you can find all episodes and all previous episodes anywhere you can find podcasts, and now on Spotify you can actually see this in video, and it always posts before we're supposed to schedule this on YouTube. So if you want a little sneak peek into it, definitely check out Spotify. And for this week, we have Dilan from Brickmania. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on? Good to join you guys. I'm a big fan of the podcast.
Woo.
Thank
And
Thanks.
that's actually really flattering. Before we get into our how's everyone doing, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Dylan. I've been working at Brickmania since early 2019, I want to say. Kind of came in when they were doing some expanding stuff, trying to work myself into a role, and eventually started to find a niche in the marketing side of things, social media, website, etc. Just pretty much anything I could do to kind of be around the product that these guys are kicking out regularly. And then hung around long enough for them to make the decision to move me to marketing manager, and now here we are.
Nice.
So you made a position for Brickmania.
to some degree, yeah, absolutely. It was kind of one of those like, well, we like what you're about. We're going to bring you on board. We'll see if it works out. And I just kind of was like, well, if they're going to invite me in the door, they're not going to get rid of me easily. So they're going to have to work hard to show me the door. And so that it wound up working out. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be doing this.
Sweet. All right. Well, we're gonna dive into you in a little bit, but before we do, how's everyone's week been?
Super.
Bueno.
Nothing big on my end other than taking down the Halloween decorations.
What?
Very exciting. And then trying to convince my partner to put up Christmas, and I got a hard no, but I did start putting up a few things. The trees aren't going up until the day after Thanksgiving, but I got a few things up. So
Okay.
slowly.
Good job, Sans.
How's that schedule coming? It's only been a week, so how's it going?
Today was the first time. Well, like we're recording on, what is it, Thursday, and I was 25 minutes late getting my video up today because. So what ended up happening, just so you guys know, I don't think anybody knows this, but I'm an architect. So I think you can make a drinking game. You just like go through. I should make a highlights reel of every time I've said that. I'm so annoying. But anyway, so I've done this like. I used to do it more regularly, but because they do take a lot of time, but I really enjoy doing them is like architectural reviews of like different Lego sets and stuff like that. And a lot of it has to do with like, I'll like introduce different architectural like topics or, like terminology, and then like relate like the sets to what I think could be precedent studies for what they were. And they're usually like not very serious at all, but I was going to do it and I've started doing it on the Home Alone set, which is like, this like holiday spirit, super fun, nostalgia. Like I just very distinctly remember watching that movie and being like, Kevin is the coolest kid ever. And like, I am so jealous, and like, I want to like have like his life and that house and all that stuff.
Man, we love that house. Huge.
What's
Yeah, what
insane
did
now
his
is
dad
like,
do?
yeah, like as an adult, I'm like, this is a mansion. Like it is
Right?
so expensive. Like
block.
in the suburbs of Chicago, that thing is probably worth like $25 million now.
Yeah, you start understanding why Joe Pesci was going after it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally makes sense. Anyway, so I'm like doing the review and I realized that it's half the size. Like the Lego set didn't even, usually what they do is like they take a facade and they make it like they just do the front side of like a building and they don't necessarily back it up. But I think what they ended up choosing is like instead of doing the full facade, they ended up like closing it off and doing the edges and stuff like that. Or like, and so they cut off 2 of the wings, which is like really distinctive in terms of the changes. Anyway, that's what, so I was totally thrown off. I'm like, what? And I've never had this reaction before with Lego. And I think this is like appropriate for Brickmania because people have this reaction with accuracy of sets and relative to history or relative to like, let's say a uniform or a building. I think people tend to react. And for the first time I had that reaction for just a split second, but then I like pulled it back and I was like, creative liberty is a thing. And as a creative, as someone who's written and drawn and done art my entire life, it exists for a purpose. And that purpose is always positive. Like nothing should be exactly the same. But I know anyway, but I find it interesting that at Brickmania, that's like with the military community, people are kind of mad about accuracy.
Yeah,
as well.
accuracy is the thing.
Rightfully so, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Needing to see like yourself represented in the plastic brick in a way, you know, and like maybe I would feel that way if, you know, Lego did a set on, you know, the diaspora of the Jewish people from the Middle East, because that's really personal, but I don't think that would happen. So yeah, like, but that would be probably the thing that would define me the most and like gets me at my core, you know, so I could project that onto, you know what I mean? Like the military.
That or if Lego ever did one of your buildings as a architecture set.
Oh, no.
You never know. You never know.
No. I mean, like, I wouldn't care if they got it accurate. They can do whatever they want.
I doubt that. I know you probably would.
You were like, hey,
No.
What
What happens, like, when you look at a building over and over again for, like, you know, usually, like, these builds are, like, 5 years in the making, and you just, like, don't care about it at the end. You, like, hate it. So
That's fair. I mean, your masterpiece right now, right? Is it your masterpiece? Like the one that's currently being made on that island?
No, I don't. No, because I wasn't the lead designer. I was like the person who made it actually happen. So, which is like a different kind of
You're the
accomplishment.
workhorse. That sucks.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, Ninja, how are you? Everything's good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Finally, I hit my first show this week.
Oh, that's right.
Whoop whoop.
What, was it really? You hadn't gone to Brikx LA before?
That was my first. The only other time was when we were supposed to go like a couple years ago.
Oh, the
And
good
I
one.
flaked.
Yeah,
I flaked
missed
out.
Oh, one of my brothers is like sending me, "Hey, veterans discount day free meals right now." I'm kidding. I don't. Well, it is Veterans Day today. Yesterday was Marine Corps birthday. For Marines, Marine Corps birthday is more important than Veterans Day. We literally party hardy, and well, this past year or this year, I honestly just worked, came home, went to the gym. I ran 3 miles because, you know, like Marine Corps, like we run, like our fitness test is 3 miles. So like that's like the basis of my running time. So I always, you know, kind of calibrate my running against the 3 miles. So yesterday was the first time I ran 3 miles since I left the post office, and it's like it was so hard.
How did it go?
It was so bad. 33 minutes. That was so horrible.
It's also like you're older, so it's like gets exponentially worse the longer you wait, like between workouts.
Right?
Like,
Oh,
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Yeah, like for me, I don't have anything like the 3 mile, but like I've done a lot of Soul Cycle. Like let's just get even more basic here, but like I've done a lot of Soul Cycle for like the last 6 years, and it's like a very clear 45-minute workout. It's the same thing almost every. I mean, it's not, but whatever. And it's like now if I go like a week.
It's not happening.
Nope.
It's not happening. You're gonna suffer. So my fastest 3 mile run time was when I was 17 in boot camp at 18 minutes and like 6 seconds.
Those are like 6-minute miles, basically.
Yeah. And I ran that like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. And now it's like a mile. Like, oh god.
And
When
you
did my
probably
knees start hurting? I don't understand what happened to these things.
I don't know. Yeah, your body just doesn't. I mean, I left the Marine Corps at 23 minutes. I mean, then again, I spent like 8 years there and already beat my body up. But like, that's a big going from 23 minutes to 33 is just, well, to be fair, I also haven't been running as much as I used to because I used to do it like every day. So yeah, I ran 3 miles yesterday. It was pretty bad. But today's Veterans Day, and today's a day where most veterans go get free stuff. I'm gonna go accept an award and come back and work. So that's gonna be my thing.
Nice.
But
Nice for the award, but the work that that's just
Yeah, I mean, it
that's
is
just
what it is.
regular.
It is what it is.
Well, and thank you for your service. I mean,
Yeah, I appreciate
today's the
that.
day to say it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it. All right. Well, let's see what happened this week with Lego. We have this.
Oh,
It's round
Oh
2
my God.
for Bricklink designer program. Did you guys get anything?
Oh my God, yes.
You did.
Oh,
you said
did?
you weren't.
Okay.
Last week you said you weren't.
I thought I wasn't. I thought I wasn't up until like 2 minutes before I pressed push.
All right, I'll
It's
just
funny
say
how
what
that
I got
works.
because I already knew. I got 2 things. Just because I knew I'm not going to be charged till 2023 at this point, based on when these are going to come out. I got the Lego store and I got the Seasons in Time, which I don't feel like it's gonna pass.
It didn't make it. I thought it's already
Yes.
decided which
I
5.
don't know. We have 33 days.
Yeah,
for them
but
to
these
decide that.
5, it's the first 5 to
Is it
make it to
it?
3,000.
it?
Didn't
Yeah.
all of them do it?
I don't know. Scroll down, Ninja.
These.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Oh, so
Sold
the
out.
Lego store. Did you get
So
that?
they sold 10,000 of those.
The windmill's still there.
Keep
windmill,
going. Windmill
like
made
that
it to
windmill.
3,000. Keep going.
Venetian.
Venetia Housing.
Keep going down. Those are
Oh,
3,000. Yep.
these
See,
are-
the
Okay.
rest aren't. So you're not getting your thing.
No, I'm not getting Seasons in Time, which is fine.
Oh,
I guess I won't be charged for that in 2023 whenever
Mm-hmm.
that comes out. So what'd you get, Claire?
Well, so I wasn't going to get anything. And then Sans was like, but you have to get, because you love modulars and you want to collect all the modulars, this Lego store is officially going to become a modular.
Oh,
And I
really?
was like, he actually bought it. He bought the modular as an investment. And also like an investment in case like I wanted it eventually. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't know how, whatever happened, I have 4 sets.
Oh my goodness. How did we get here? No.
It was FOMO because like don't get me wrong, I got the 2 sets like that I really wanted from the first round and I'm really happy about it and I was like really content. And then the first round that happened a couple years ago, I have a few of those sets and I love them. And even though I wasn't feeling like I wanted it, I had such FOMO and I was like, whatever, it's 2023. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Between
right.
now and then.
Figure it out then.
I mean,
So
I
it's
can
a future Claire problem.
theoretically
afford it.
I
You can
can so
afford
if I can afford it now. So I'm hoping that I don't see why I wouldn't be able to afford it in
Mhm.
a couple years when wealth theoretically is cumulative. I have no idea though.
Yeah, you'll be
who
fine.
knows? Yeah.
Well, now that I'm not getting Seasons in Time, I could probably throw that somewhere else.
I'm sorry. I know. I was like, what ding dong wants this one? It's weird and expensive. No, so I have all of them, but the fish tank.
You ordered every single one of these?
Oh.
I made a Lego order and I was like, whatever, I'm sure one of these will not go through. All 4 that I ordered went through.
Wait, did you get the Venetia houses?
Yep.
Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna lean towards because I'm thinking about that one. It
pretty
will
nice.
work in my city. I can make it happen.
Damn. I just like that's $1,000 if anyone is unaware.
Yeah, but $1,000 in the future, you'll be fine.
Exactly, and with
$1,000 now.
inflation rates
Theoretically
going
save like
up,
$100
has
every
anyone,
month till then.
are you guys aware of inflation, of what's going to happen, and like your money that's sitting in the bank is going to be worthless?
Yeah.
So
Wallpaper.
I mean, our generation's already screwed with Social Security anyways, so.
okay, good.
We're-
Okay, well,
it's a-
if you're thinking about investing in real estate, now is probably a good time, especially since interest rates are low.
but
Boy, this is the
all the
kind of
houses-
advice you can get from the Cali Brick Clique.
Yeah,
My
there you go.
goodness, I
What?
thought you just chat about bricks, and here we're talking about interest rates and home.
No.
Oh. we can go off the spectrum here. All right. Well, Ninja, I'm assuming you didn't buy a single thing.
No.
Wow. Dylan,
Miss
do
me
you
with it.
dive into these?
Every once in a while, it's more of a keeping tabs thing for me. I'll be totally honest. Most of my Lego collection, I recycle right back into Brickmania. Otherwise, my passion is similar to your Black Falcon obsession, Shy. Otherwise, I'm on the D&D side of things, so I've got a little Lego army from all that kind of stuff that I thought about posting on social media until I saw your Black Falcons, and I was like, well, no, I'm just completely inadequate. Can't touch that.
No, you gotta post that stuff.
600, man. I
Yeah.
did not- My goal
I
is
know,
501.
Shy's
I
got
got
to one up
600.
everybody.
It still took
Yeah,
him 2
yeah.
tries to beat the dinosaurs. I couldn't believe it. Lost a lot of money on that.
Hey, my army needs factions everywhere, so Black Falcons is the most affordable one to accumulate an army for right now. All right. Well, aside from Bricklink, we also have the AT-AT announcement, official announcement by Lego, and well, damn it, now I want it. I was
Now you
talking so
want-
much crap about it the past like week and some change, and I'm now like, maybe I was just trying to psych myself out from wanting to buy it.
Okay.
But now I want it.
Interesting.
I feel like that one would be such an easy one to display because I can just put it in a corner and it'll look
Oh,
fine.
this is the problem because, like, you know, I've got it. Now you're like, oh, I want it, and it's like you're like, oh, Claire pulled the trigger. Maybe she, you know, it's just like, you know, it's like there was clearly like some value there. You know, someone else saw value in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Don't listen to me. But
So are you gonna get it too?
Enabling. No, I'm just kidding.
what?
The AT-AT?
I want it. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. See, so now I want the Titanic and the AT-AT.
Oh, I want both. Oh, yeah.
I'm not buying them this year because I told myself no more Lego till end of 2021. So I'm completely content until then. But plus I don't have to like beat everybody to the punch. So
Not only no more Lego, but those are like some of the biggest sets, aren't they?
yeah, but they're gonna be hard to get. I mean, the Titanic's already sold out.
Yeah.
I don't know about in stores, but online they're sold out. And then AT-AT, come on Black Friday, I'm not.
Do you think though? You think
gonna
it's
do
only sold out because it's so new though?
Of course,
I don't know. They have some in store here.
Yeah. Because
yeah. They'll be in the store. That's for sure. I
Yeah.
know they'll have a couple runs every truck. They'll have a new run of AT-ATs, but I'm also going to be competing against a bunch of other. I mean, we're in SoCal. A lot of Lego fans have the money to buy it. So yeah, I'm not gonna try. I'll just wait till it's like available online sometime next year, and then when Double VIP happens, if it's available, I'll pick it up then. So
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good you're not
gonna-
stressing over it. Yeah.
I'm gonna get it eventually, just not right now. So Ninja, that's out. You're not touching that, right?
Yeah,
Not
I'm
even
not,
with a-
I'm not.
Not even.
Not
Not at all.
in the space for that right now.
Have you guys seen the pictures of the Titanic like against the Lego store displays in the front
No.
to kind of get a scale of how big it is?
No.
I thought it would be bigger.
I
Based on what
think-
everybody was
interesting.
telling us.
I've heard people say the same thing, that they thought it was going to be bigger.
Yeah, like everybody was saying it's like a humongous thing, and I'm like, and then I see it right next to the Home Alone set, and I'm like,
Maybe the vloggers or the YouTubers that have the set are smaller than we thought they were.
That's what it is. It's human perspective. That's the issue.
Exactly.
You're like, wow, look at it compared to that guy's hand. And then you're like, wait, that's just a small hand.
Exactly. It's like
Nice.
I used to think Josh Build stuff was like 5'6". He's like 6'2", by the way. So
I know he
Yeah.
shocked me when I saw him in person.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa,
and
you
he's
are tall.
skinny. And for some reason, Sans thought he was fat, but that's because he doesn't watch his content. I have no idea why. No, I'm kidding. No, he does watch his
Cold-blooded.
content.
That was for Josh right there.
I know,
Shout
and a
out.
lot of people think Sans is taller than he is too, and I think they think I'm taller than I am too. So
Did you wear
Camera.
heels when you were with Emily?
like half-inch ones.
Yeah, I was like, you look tall.
Yeah, no, I mean I was wearing
Sorry, not taller than you.
boots. Like I just
Yeah.
wasn't like, you know, a schlep like I am 90% of the time.
You actually dressed up for Emily.
I put on a sweater and jeans and boots.
You dressed up for Emily because I've not seen you that way yet.
That's because I've seen you like at Disneyland.
That's fair. I
Yeah,
get it.
where
packed
you're
out.
like, yeah, you're like one step below your workout attire at Disneyland.
That's true. That's true. So when I see you again, you're gonna look exactly the same.
I'll look exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Speaking of large crowds, so we kind of touched about it. Brick. Oh my God!
Brickfest.
It's blown up. Yeah.
Oh
Brickfest.
yeah, dude. I don't know who that is. It's
Pasadena.
another. What are those scam calls? Whatever it is. Whatever.
Oh
But-
yeah,
yeah,
cold
it-
collars. Yeah,
It's annoying. Like I keep blocking them. They keep coming back.
no, it's a bot. It's a
Try
bot.
That's
to
always a bot.
contact
so-
you about your car's extended warranty.
Indeed, that's always it, Ninja.
Or do you
It's
want to
always
lower your
that.
mortgage rating? Blah 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 blah. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, be quiet.
Or in a language I don't speak, and I'm like,
Exactly.
There's a discrepancy tied to your social security.
Have you heard the IRS one that's trying to scam people? Like, you owe the IRS, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, no. Click.
Oh, let me do a quick side tangent. So they got my mom with that.
Oh, man.
They
Oh,
got
that's who
her.
they're targeting.
I know. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? Okay, she's like, they called me. I got so worried, and they asked for my bank account information, so I gave it to them.
Oh.
They needed my password. I gave it. I was like, Mom, what the? And then she's like, she's like, 30 minutes in, I realized I was getting scammed. It's like, why do you need my password? Why do you need all this info?
I don't think people realize that like the IRS doesn't know how much money you have in your checking and savings.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And they don't do phone calls. They pass it off to collection agencies. Yeah, right.
They don't have the resources to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they wouldn't ask like for your password to your bank account information.
No one would ask for that information. That should be a big red flag.
That being said, I'm going to need to collect some information.
Oh, I got it. This is a professional environment, so I got you.
Don't you technically have my information?
Yeah, that's actually true. We had to talk about that for the veteran profiles, didn't we? I was like, do you want me to use your full name?
No,
should we just go shy?
Yeah, just do my handle name. All right. So before we get into that, so Brickfest was Brickfest Pasadena, which is LA, just happened this past weekend, and well, it was underwhelming just because there were COVID restrictions and there were only like 2 vendors, but I got to meet some really cool people that I've been dying to meet. So like Kate was one of them, Ezra was another, and then
amazing.
Yeah, Daniel as well. So those 2 have been on the podcast, so it was good to actually see them in person. Also, shout out to Western Wolf, got to kick with him the entire time. It was only supposed to be 2-hour slots. Like Western Wolf just chilled the entire time.
That's what I was just thinking. Like they didn't really crack down on the COVID stuff.
They did test you if you didn't provide
they did do that.
a card, which was pretty cool that they were at least having the, it's free. They didn't have to charge you or anything for a COVID test. So, which kind of saddens me because Brikx LA is not like open to the public this upcoming year in January. So it's just VIB, very important builders. Which might be kind of fun because it's a little bit more intimate, so you get to really kick it with like actual builders, and you don't have to worry about your mocks.
To be fair, that was like my favorite time of Brick Fair was like the non-public days. But I get it if you're like the type of person who wants to like meet fans and stuff like that, and if that's like a big part of your life or whatever. But I mean, it's not for me. I mean, I love it, but that's like, I only have like a handful of people that know who I am. So it's like, for me, it's just like kind of being around mock builders, and you can do that,
You should still come down then.
Oh yeah. I think we have it on the calendar.
Okay, cool. Just because so this one I'm actually looking forward to, although it's not public, I'm looking forward to like kind of networking and socializing with a lot of builders because I don't know a lot of them. And, they're in their own little worlds, like they're in lugs, they're like they have their own circles. So it'll be kind of cool to kind of mesh different groups together and like be forced to communicate. Because last Brikx LA that was public, which was not last year, the year before, that was when Lego Masters 1 came out. And they were all there. They were all like, it was mad. It was a madhouse as far
were
as
they crazy over the Lego Masters over there?
Not really. Like if you're like, because it was so fresh, like not a lot of people have seen it yet.
So what was the madhouse part of it then?
It was just there were so many people there. Like a lot.
Oh, like it was just
it was just crowded.
It was
packed. Like they had like at least 20 vendors. It was Citizen Brick was there, Eclipse was there. I mean, Brickmania was there. But I'm just saying.
Oh, shots fired!
Shots fired. We're coming to West Coast eventually.
Yeah, we do. How about with an actual store?
Yeah, that's that too. Yes. Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't because I'll be there all the time.
Got a position for you.
Would you
be the first manager, Brickmania West Coast?
Oh snaps! No, that would be fun. We'll talk about that. So Brikx LA is coming up. I was gonna do like 3 mocks, but now we've dwindled down to just 2, and one of them I'm just displaying the army, so that's really not working for me. But I got to do the. I hope I'm able to still do the Skid Row one. So that's like that's where I'm gonna put my energy into because I got some cool stuff to add to it, and it's relevant here. And I feel like Brikx LA is more. I don't think I could. That mock would not pass at Brickfest, but for Brikx LA, which is like more targeted towards the AFOL, I think that'll be kind of fun. But speaking, what
real quick? So Pasadena was pretty small. I think I don't know. My first convention to me it seemed pretty small.
It was smaller than usual.
How Like, what do you think the comparison is between Bricks LA and Pasadena? Like, the
So
size difference.
So Brickfest and Bricks LA they're focused towards different audiences. Brickfest throughout the United States is more towards kids, right? There's a build pit, there's building areas, that's mainly where it's focused at. Bricks LA isn't. So there's no build pits or anything like that. There's just more mocks. So what you saw, which was like what, four rectangles,
there's only like
five?
four.
4 or 5. I think it was 5.
I know we missed that. I missed that whole back section.
So the master builds, you won't see those from Lego, but you'll see a lot, like just double the mocks that you would see, and times 10 for the vendors, because there's only 2 vendors there that you saw. And then there's a lot of games and stuff like that. There's like social events that that makes you like interact with each other. So that's mainly what Bricks LA is. And like I said, it's more geared towards adults. So you'll see mocks that you would like, the back of your neck will be like, is that appropriate?
Should I be looking at
like
this?
should I do that? So like, but it's not geared towards kids, even though kids come, and it's more of a freedom type of event. And Lego came to the last one, I think. So they as we know from talking to Mr. Hinkle, like they don't go to all of them anymore. Like after he left, so now they choose which ones they go to, and Lego's provided bricks and sets for this past one. So I think they acknowledge that it's a big one for the West Coast, like just like Cascade up north. So I don't know. Like it's kind of sucks that we haven't really had a good Bricks LA for the past, or going 2 years, I guess. So we'll see what happens.
See how this goes
next year or the year after, based on the restrictions going on with COVID. Hopefully it'll be over by now. I know we've been saying COVID's going to be over the past like 2 years, but it's not going anywhere anytime soon, apparently. But speaking of that, during Brickfest, I was in a little troll match with another third-party Lego company, which I will not name here. And if you're in the know, you know. If you don't, I'm sure you can figure it out by who we're talking about. So I was supporting MW Bricks and writing a comment on his video, and I provided constructive feedback. It was nothing derogatory or damning for that company whatsoever. They responded, and then I checked, because I'm curious. I'll just check the Instagram page. I'm like, oh, what do they have new that I can see? Because all news is good news, right? For a company, like even if it's bad, like you're gonna check what they have. I checked and I'm like, oh, I'm blocked again. What the? So in the past, I've been blocked. Like I've said things. They don't like my praise. They really hate my criticism, which is unfair. So every time I say something bad, I get blocked, and I'm like, oh, I'm blocked again. Screenshot. So I've been screenshotting everything that's been, hit against me from that company for a very long time, and I'm just saving it. And then I posted up again on that comment on someone on that page, and then boom, it happened again. Like they came back at me like hard, and I'm like, chill, bro. So this kind of happened throughout Brickfest when I'm like going back and forth on my page, and then I found out that I checked my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm not blocked again, and that's when I found. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not when I found out. Back on the timeline, I'm not blocked again. So I'm like, okay, I'll just kill it here, dude. I'll just, hey, whatever, bygones be bygones. This is what I see, because you're denying the fact that you guys didn't do that. I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm done. And then somebody screenshotted something on Discord, on their Discord, and sent it to me. And I'm like, they're showing a screenshot of me not blocked. So I'm like, when I do the math of the time frame, I'm like, oh, you unblocked me to screenshot it to share it to your fans, and then you blocked me again, because I found out you blocked me again. So I'm like, okay, this makes me really mad. And I called them out in that same comment line, and then they deleted every single comment on that video. So I'm like, okay, I win. I let it go. Completely let it go. I'm like, okay, I'm done with you. I don't want to put any more energy into this. I've already said my piece. The fact that they were hitting up everybody who shared my post, as opposed to just DMing me specifically to have a conversation, was one, unprofessional, and two, like, come on, grow some balls. And then two, later on, I was checking comments on one of my reels, and the reel that it wasn't meant to like really take off or anything like that. It was just more so just to honor the dead of my family for Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead, where I'm just showcasing my family who have passed. They wrote on the comment on there pretty much, and it's still there if you want to check it, that they don't block me, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah,
And
time
then
and a place. Yeesh.
yeah, that's like really, dude. And then, to be fair, he probably didn't know what he was commenting on, but still, like, you commented on there. So now I'm able to click the link from my Instagram page to prove that I am blocked. So you just screwed yourself double. So that's literally where I'm like, okay, now this is personal, because now you did it on something that was highly inappropriate. So I'm saving that for my arsenal for a later time. If I were to ever use it, I said my piece and I'm done with it. But in how this relates to BKM right now, Dylan, you are like the social media face of Brickmania. You run the accounts, you the websites. Am I correct?
Yeah, when you're DMing Brickmania Instagram, you're DMing me, correct? Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and then what goes on the website. When people freak out because some minifigure isn't where it should be on Friday morning, that's your boy right here.
So I'm gonna ask the question that you asked me not to ask you. So why aren't there any Brickmania sales? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that question. You don't have to answer that question. So you also do the marketing as well. So do you plan all that kind of stuff? So you base it on trends and stuff like that?
Yep. So like the whole veteran profile thing that we reached out to you, that we're coordinating with the Minnesota Military Families Foundation, that all comes out of us. Veterans Day sales, various Black Friday specials, even maneuvering like when we had to extend the plank owners discounts because the Macon Island was because COVID, and trips, all that kind of stuff. So that all falls. I work closely with. We have a business development team here as well that kind of helps take some of the load off, because obviously I'm just one person, and then we've got a team obviously of excellent artists who help with the website graphics and all that stuff. So I'm just kind of the gatekeeper for all that kind of stuff at this point.
Wow, that's a lot. So, damn, that just makes me think about how many more people are actually on staff. So I'm sure you see it, and you're very fully aware of what happens in the Lego military community as far as trauma. But BCAM is no exception to receiving that type of issue.
Yeah.
So how do you like keep yourself from letting your personal emotions get to you, specifically since Brickmania, like although it's not as huge company, it's still small enough to still feel more family knit, and you can take things very personally, especially when it's your art that's projected out there. So like you're protecting Dan, you're protecting Lando, Slam, all everyone that's there designing stuff, putting everything out there. You're eventually going to run into trolls and people who are on the other side who just want to destroy Brickmania for something that happened a long time ago. Like, how do you keep yourself from not keeping Brickmania out of the Sorry, let me rephrase that question. How do you keep yourself from keeping Brickmania's face in the light?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it for me initially was getting up to speed with the community, because I kind of came back, like many people do, came back into the Lego community when I discovered Brickmania, and that there were, kind of such a thing as really adult building kits when it came to the military side of things. And so I was definitely not prepared initially to just how, let's say, passionate the military building fan base is, but at the same time, it was awesome to see. I mean, I'm still psyched to this day about the people that we work with who are like so incredibly passionate over the various things that we create, that they get to build. Even the designers here, all that kind of stuff, it is totally awesome. But what I really had to learn, especially when I got into social media, was how you kind of categorize the people that you regularly interact with, especially the faceless accounts. Just the random Lego head and then some sort of gibberish in the name. And it's like that you have no idea if that's their 7th account or their 1st account.
Right.
And so a lot of that is something you got to figure out. And then the other portion of that is that there are plenty of people, like yourself, like whoever, who provide that kind of constructive criticism, but are doing it in a way that they're trying to let you know about an issue and also hoping that there is some corrections made. Obviously, you don't just make criticism because you want it to fall on deaf ears, but at the same time, you go about it because you want to see something better come of this brand.
Yeah, of course.
There's the other side of criticism, which isn't really a criticism, which is just trying to find either issues with every single thing that you can try to broadcast out there, or you're actually like maliciously trying to injure what we're trying to do here. And so that is where I think we trend into that whole kind of like, well, you're blocked, you're done kind of thing. I don't think that we've ever come from a standpoint where we've like wanted to steer away from that kind of criticism, especially since we've been working with some of the people who, like with the CH53, like we literally get to deal with the operators of some of this stuff. And that's really cool. And we would never want to tarnish those resources because we take advantage of it every turn we get. That being said, because some faceless account on Instagram has an issue with something that we've already kind of worked through and found a solution for, it doesn't mean that we're going to give them some sort of platform to, trash our stuff.
Right.
So, and the emotions of it, I guess, the only time I've ever like really had to hold my tongue or whatever on social media has been when they move from the model to the person. That I've got an issue with. Like, don't move from what a creation is out of Lego to then the person creating that Lego. That's when you've got an issue with me. And that thankfully hasn't been something that's been too regular. But when that happens, that's when I'm like, ooh, just type it, let it sit for a second, and then decide if that's the right way to go.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Let it marinate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So with all the artists that you're working on and designers that you're working with, like, do you help control what they do?
To a degree. So, I mean, most of it is just controlling the flow of the project list that, Dan helps set up and that the designers decide in on. And obviously some of the outside designers can say, I want to do this for this theme, etc. We did have, you guys know, the Randoverse. So that was kind of a spin that we took off of the Lando's Randos that we actually decided to put some kits into, so that came out of our department. There's been some various tweaks and things here or there, the calendars, the notebooks, all that kind of stuff, swag items, all that can come out of us. Otherwise, what we're doing is really just more so, I mean, the products themselves are already so cool. All we need to do is give them a spotlight. And then they can move themselves. And so that's been our policy is marketing wise, is let's put everything out there as much as we can so everyone knows what's coming. And then just let the passions, take care of themselves.
Plus it gives us a heads up on like how to plan our finances.
It's a huge part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even employees deal with that here.
Yeah, I would imagine. So you do see this kind of stuff on a regular basis every now and then. Well, yeah, you do see this on a regular basis. You do control it. Do you think it would be a good idea to have all the employees who are on social media with a BKM name attached to it be on the same page as how to deal with like trolls, how to deal with negativity, so that way you don't fall into the trap of going back and forth with someone you just shouldn't be wasting your time with?
Well, and that's exactly it, right? It's a time waster, and it's kind of like, how much do you value your time versus how much does this entity, this whatever going on the other side of the internet you're conversing with values their time. So, and especially if you've got stuff to do here that can be just contributing to moving on to the next thing, it's like, why sit and do the feed? Now, that being said, there are instances where it's like, the Brickmania brand is not a pushover by any means. And so it's not like we'll just stick our head in the sand and pretend stuff isn't happening. I mean, we will address things when they need to be addressed. And we also, aren't somebody who's going to take something lying down. And so we have adopted that into our marketing policies, in the sense where if somebody's just straight up wrong, we have no problem being like, well, you're incorrect, but you can think what you like. But I don't think we'd ever go, you'd never go about that in a mean way or malicious way, especially because I think the craziest part about some of these conversations that I've seen, especially when I was new to it, is it's like, you don't know how old these people are. I mean, this could be some like 40-year-old man having it out with a 13-year-old in the comment section. And it's like, that's just weird, man. I don't understand who does that over.
It's super weird.
It's
weird. Super weird.
Yeah,
it's super weird. It's just like a lot of people get really frustrated really easily and don't have the self-awareness to like realize like where it's coming from, what's going on in their life, whatever it is, and they use it as like a really quick outlet, and they're really reactionary, and it's really easy to get caught up in that. Like, I empathize with that, I definitely do. But like, man, move on. It's just like,
right?
You're not helping yourself. You're not helping anybody. And if anything, you just look like an idiot. And it's just like, that's like, there's intrinsic value in constructive criticism, but most of the time people ask for it when they're really ready to hear it. And I think if like a company will put out being like, hey guys, we've done a survey, or hey guys, like, what do you think on this? That's really the space to do it. Like, I think freely giving your critique on things, and like, I I honestly, like, I don't work in customer service. Like, architecture is its own form of it, but, like, I don't work in customer service. I appreciate really good customer service. But I think people have taken the concept of freedom of speech to, like, a level of inappropriateness and project their opinions on other people and other things when they're not necessary or wanted. People comment on what people look like, their weight, the way they dress, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they behave. It's not your place. It's not your place to have any opinion on anybody else in terms of like projecting it to the world. Like, you can obviously have your opinion, but like have some manners and like kind of keep your mouth shut like a little bit. And it's just like, this company is operating amazingly. Like, Brickmania, you're doing great. If you guys are looking for opinion from people, I feel like you'd ask for it. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. You guys are like engaged in your community and you're like talking back and forth, and it's like a really great way to do that. And like, I post videos on YouTube and I have my comments are open, and like by keeping comments open, absolutely, that's like, and I'm making a conscious decision to have comments come into my life, into that platform. But like, if people don't do that, like, don't find ways around it. Do you know what I mean? And like, don't engage with children.
Not to mention it's your platform.
What?
Not to mention it's your platform.
That's my platform.
Not something that somebody else can go make theirs because they're using the comment section to decide something.
That's exactly it. Yeah. A lot of people like that. It's like the attention and stuff like that, you know, and it's like people going. So like recently I was on a friend's live stream, and I was like, I don't usually mod there, but like, I don't usually need to mod. There's usually like a ton of mods there, but they were doing like a live stream at like a different time. And a bunch of bots came in saying like racial profanities, whatnot. Honestly, I was expecting the Shy to come out of the lurk to like start modding with me, but I was like on my phone.
Well, you were on it. So,
were you there?
I was there, but I was also in the middle of a call. So I was just like,
I was like on my phone about to leave to go for a workout, and I had to like delay my workout so that I could like do it. And it was just like one after the next after the next. And I'm like on my phone rather than like the computer, which is like, and there's a delay on the phone too.
Yeah,
And so anyway, but it's just like it was just like one bot after the next with like the N-word, like Jews were thrown. It was just anti-Semitic. It was like, it was wacky. And it was like one after the next after the next. And it's like, I don't get it. Like, why? Like, what is it? Like, you're not doing it. Like, there's so much energy is being wasted. If you have the capacity to create a bot to do something like that, like, what else are you able to do? Like, why are you doing this?
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth?
Stuff, yeah.
Anyway.
It's like, I just want to see people clench their pearls, and so I'm going to spend my time making a whole bunch of bots that post random things. And
right?
It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. I like don't get it. It's like, man, I am like, it's like I gotta clean the litter box. I gotta do laundry. I gotta make lunch. Like, and like I'm busy like thinking about that. Not like I'm gonna ruin someone's day. I'm gonna be hateful. I'm gonna ruin my own life. Like, you know, these are the things that like, you know, like just change your perspective a little bit. I mean, you know.
I don't think we're really supposed to understand the way trolls operate, but I definitely think it's just the attention. Like, that's the only way. That's the only way they can get it. So,
well, like I always
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you'd start to understand why people are like, shout out to the haters, because it's funny how much more time they'll spend thinking about you and putting effort into your posts than some of your like biggest fans, and they're just kind of like, yeah, Friday stuff looks great, this is cool, I might get this. Whereas like,
it
Mr.
brings
Troll
traffic.
Man is ready to like,
it brings a ton of traffic. It brings a ton of traffic, which is kind of nuts. It's weird though, because it's like most of the time in my head I'm like, oh, it's just kids who like, you know, their parents treat them like crap, and this is like where they get to like express themselves or something like that, and that sucks, and it's the parents' fault, and just won't get mad. But like me saying this, like I've said a couple things like this on like live streams and stuff, and then I've had like memes and stuff made of me about like making fun of my age or
I've
something.
been there.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, do you feel better about yourself? Because you're probably going nowhere, and you probably are nowhere.
Yeah, if you're gonna run an entire Instagram account just to make funny screenshots from the funny/hurtful screenshots from the sit rep, you've got more time on your hands than I do. That's for sure.
Yeah, good job. Good job. You don't have like a loving family, a successful career, and a life worth living. It's like
there's something.
That's your effort and energy for the day. It's just
cool. Good job. High five.
Well,
you did it.
I guess I win. So like, usually what I tell myself when I get into these like. Because I do have an anger problem. That's something that I've been dealing with, and I've been actually doing really well with. So like when I get heated, I get heated quick, and I always have to like take a step back and breathe. And what I always tell myself is that I guarantee it, this person would never tell this to my face.
Right. Yeah. No kidding.
Never. And that was the comment that I wrote that I would presume that company deleted all their comments from. I'm like, hey, you said A, B, and C. I see it. I guarantee you would never say this to my face.
Mhm.
And then after that, I deleted it because I was like, oh, I should take a step back. I look dumb. I delete it. But I know that person saw it because shortly after everything was deleted. I was just like,
See, yeah,
Like-
that's interesting because I had a convo with in another live stream. We were talking about. Damn, I'm getting a call and it totally fucking.
nice.
All
You
right.
dropped the F-bomb before Claire did.
I know. Tell marketers, she's like,
Totally
bring
made me
out
lose
another
my thought.
You're on a live stream talking about blank.
I don't know. We'll keep going. It'll come back.
Well, okay, we'll come back to it. But I was gonna say, like, this is the most attention that I've ever, I think, given it. You know what I mean? Like right now, just this conversation.
Mhm.
And I think that's a bad thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the number one thing that should be done is like ignore. And it's just like block, ignore. And so the thing is Shy, like, I guess everyone's like perspective on what constructive is or isn't. And if your concept of the world is different than others, and if your mental state is different than others, you have that third party Lego company has every right to block you, and you just gotta let it. You just gotta move on, buddy.
Oh yeah, I was totally fine with that, and I was content. Like I when it happened, I guess it wasn't necessarily like it happened what made me upset. It's just like, come on, man.
But come
How
on.
many
You're
times have you
like,
done
I've
this
got
already?
this ammo saved for a later date. Like, come on, that's not like you
No,
got it.
it's I'm gonna save it. If they, I'm gonna save it. It'll be
For what?
for
What
fun
are they
content.
going to do to you?
Oh, nothing. You know, I personally doing that on my like, although they probably didn't watch the video, even though it says it clearly what it is. I think that's what bothers me. Like
As
the
it
most.
should.
Like
That's the weird part.
It went personal. That's literally where it went. Like the whole time that this was happening to me at Brickfest, like I was literally just like smiling while this happened. Like, okay, you're gonna troll me, I'm gonna troll you back.
No
And then
wonder you
move
were
on,
so
move on.
happy. No, I'm
Like just put us like, I'm like, whatever. It's like just engagement, because technically what it's doing, it was giving my Instagram traffic.
So hold on a second. This was happening while you were at Brickfest on your phone.
No, before and then after, because I wasn't on my
Okay,
phone,
I was gonna
like,
say,
at
I was
Brickfest.
like, if this is taking away
Yeah,
you
no.
living in the moment and enjoying your experience at Brickfest with all these amazing people that you got to meet, then you are giving it more.
Oh yeah,
time
no,
and
this was
effort.
me waiting in line to
Okay,
get in.
waiting in line, but that's like time that you could be like, oh, like, you know, what am I getting Venus for our wedding anniversary, or you know, things like that.
That's a pretty good scolding, Claire. Well
Yeah, there
done.
you
How do you feel,
No,
Shy?
but my point is
I feel
like,
like crap, apparently.
but like your mental space is valuable. You know what I mean? That part of
You
your
sound
brain.
like my counselor and my psych right
Oh
now.
my God. Well, I'm not trying to be, and I'm not qualified to be so, but like my point is, it's just like you're still giving it attention, you're still giving it space. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's just like,
yeah. It's for me.
you're
it's
worth
a
more than
problem.
that.
Yeah, I know that. Thank you for telling me that. I need to keep hearing that. So keep telling me that. So one of my issues that I deal with mentally is anger, and I don't project it out there because I have a really good control over it. It's something that kind of stemmed off, you know, reinforced more so from the military, and also coming from a bad neighborhood. Like if you were, you know, you just get bumped in the shoulder back then, you're gonna deal with it. You step on my shoes, if you don't apologize, you're gonna
Especially
deal
those
with
white
it.
Air Forces. Oh, it's
It's
over.
a white Air Force. Oh my god. So this, although not the same, it's kind of the same. Someone like talks crap about you, you don't apologize, you're gonna deal with it, or you just like let it fester in your mind. And for me, like I used to have road rage, like pretty bad, like, and
Yeah.
it would eat me up. Like, bro, you just almost killed me on my motorcycle. Like, I have to like remind myself why, like, what I should be focusing on my bike than to like
Yeah.
them.
It's like identifying what a
Yeah.
threat is. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, I should let it go. You're on a bike, you can die. So
yeah,
like,
but like in the situation that you're in, like, and the life that you live now, as you know, like as a day-to-day civilian, your threat is yourself is the biggest threat, right? And your mental health and the way that you treat yourself is the biggest threat on your own personal life and your family. And you identify that rather than like, you know, a ding dong on Instagram who makes like, you know, Lego for a living, you know, I mean, whatever, like, you know, that's what, like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. We're all like, I don't think if people saw it like that, you know what I mean? If people saw it like, oh, like I'm threatening this person's like safety and livelihood, it would be very different. But like the things that you fought for, like freedom of speech, this is it being enacted in its worst way. But you know, that is it inherently,
Yeah,
you know?
that's a very fair point. And that's one of the mechanisms that I kind of remind myself with, is that they are entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to react however they please. So
I mean, yes and no. I mean,
yeah,
like,
they
not
can,
entitled
but
to. I think that's
they're
a
going to see ramifications if it impedes upon someone else's.
Yeah, there are
there's
social
consequences.
rules and that you live by and stuff like that. And so like, you know, you won't purchase from them anymore. And you can freely also say like, hey, I don't like the way that they've operated from a customer service perspective. I cannot recommend purchasing from this company in case you run into any issues. That's it. But then it stops there, right?
Well, and I mean content about it.
Well, and I was going to say too, I think the other part of it is that, like, you know, a toxic community is a toxic community, and they're not very structurally sound. So I think a lot of what you see too is it's kind of like they'll go find their own spaces. Discord is a huge one of them to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And it almost never works out. They usually wind up teetering out because they get into their own inner quarrels.
Yeah.
And then what was supposed to be this kind of like toxic powerhouse that was really going to stick it to the man just kind of fading away into nothingness because none of them can cooperate with each other.
I think a lot of those communities are
happen.
based in like just loneliness, like a lot of loneliness. And it's like a lot of us have found, like, especially during the pandemic and stuff and like coming to the Lego community, a lot of that was stemmed in loneliness. Like I have no shame in that, you know?
Wow.
But
wow.
Anyway, I know someone did not want to hear this conversation, but it's fine. It's because he's in the kitchen. But yeah, I just think I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. It's just like the combination of loneliness with like a toxic environment. I think it's really dangerous.
And it's weird to put it with something that's such a cool, fun toy. That's the weirdest part. Is it's like the association is, you know, like kind of adorable, and so many people get so angry about this stuff, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's like what?
I'm so infuriated.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, my goodness, I thought I was a passionate guy, but I've been told otherwise.
It's funny because like in my other world, which is the MC world, the drama that happens there is serious.
Right.
Like people get hurt,
and
like when those issues happen that I have to quell or deal with, I look at myself and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like I'm looking at another Marine on the other side. I'm like, why do we have an issue? Like we've already done this battle against someone that's way greater than us to come back home to have a sit down because of this. Like it's dumb. It's dumb. And then when I put that in perspective with the Lego community in general, not just with the custom world, but like with Lego themselves, like I'm like, why don't I see it so clean like that? You know, like I should tell myself the same thing. Like this is not even close to the kind of BS that you deal with, and like it's not centered around, you know, like territory or respect or anything like that. It's centered around a brick. Like that's literally what it is, and the creativity that stems from it, whether that be on social media, photography, building itself,
but also the childlike sensibility of it, and that you can bring out that nature, which inherently brings out your childlike maturity of emotional management. And I think
does it have to?
But no, I don't think it does at all. But I think it does that. People are like, well, you know, it's like, I think I've talked about this before. It's like when you go hang out with your parents, you like turn into a 13-year-old almost immediately. And it's like, or you interact with like your siblings and you're like 12. And it's like, you like fall into these bad habits. And it's almost like, oh, like, you know, I'm at Disneyland, so like I should be able to like, you know, I'm gonna like, you know, cut in line because like that's what I did because I was like a fat bully when I was a kid or something. When I say fat, I mean that as like large in terms of personality or whatever. But like, but you know, like I think that people like, I don't know. I think it does trigger that as well. I think like people are like, well, I'm gonna let myself go and be free, and this is my safe space to be like a horrible human being. And a lot of people do that with relationships too. They're like, they think that like their friends or their partner is responsible for making them happy and also for like bringing them emotional like equality and tranquility, whatever that means. And that's absolutely not the case. You're responsible for doing that on your own, and you pay somebody else to do that for you or help you with through that. That's like how that works. You don't put that weight on your partner, and that's not what they're there for. And I don't know. I think people are doing that as well. They like kind of just like it's just emotional vomiting everywhere with the internet, you know?
Emotional vomiting.
It's a good way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely accurate to some of the stuff that you see, especially with the rants that are just like so impassioned over something that just, I mean, it's weird because like you don't want to call it not a big deal because it is a big deal. I can see it for what it is. You know, when we did that M777 Shy, like I can completely understand what having something like that in Lego form would mean to somebody. But there's also just kind of the flip side of that coin, which is like we need to take some breathers at times when there are certain, you know, things. And then the other part is it's like sometimes people assume that like the design team just missed stuff or they didn't discuss it or they're thinking that like how could you not have looked at that? And it's like, man, some of those things there's already been 3-day discussions around trying to figure out different techniques or how are we going to move this plate back or how are we going to get this? And if it gets to the point where we got to turn the model in and they're like, you know what, this makes it work and it increases functionality, let's roll with it. And then somebody has an absolute conniption of it over the internet. It's kind of like, we were there, we were right with you. We tried to troubleshoot it as well. You know,
yeah, I think it's like you have to trust in the experts and like the people that you hire, the people that you work with, and the people that you buy from. There has to be like not necessarily implicit, but there has to be an initial trust that happens. And then if whatever like boundaries you're setting up for that, sometimes they can be like they can fail them, and like you either reevaluate your boundaries or you exit the relationship. And you know, it's really that simple. And it like. So the thing I can think of is like with architecture, like you can't do your job by yourself and you can't get all the things in your life by yourself. So you have to trust your structural engineer, your civil engineer, you have to trust your insurance agent, you know, and same with life. Like you have to trust the things that you pay for, like, you know, your HOA or whatever it is that's supposed to be like part of your life and part of the infrastructure of it and the business, whatever it is, you have to trust that. And if you don't, then you're sitting there being paranoid the whole time and nothing is being done. The reason you're trusting these things is so that they can take responsibility of things that you don't need to take responsibility, so you can focus your energies on whatever that is. So Brickmania exists to provide you a product, to give you entertainment, to give you joy in your life, to give you a reflection of your past life, whatever it is, or your current life, however it is that exists, and let that be it.
Wow. Damn, Claire.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You looking for a job?
You should probably walk away right now before
that is a mic drop moment right there.
Oh yeah,
right?
sorry.
Exactly.
Well, I only have like 1x2 plates. I can just like drizzle them into my coffee.
I got you, Claire.
Right there you go.
There we go.
Mic
All right.
dropped.
Well, it comes close to that time. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say? Because I don't know how we can beat that like monologue right there. To sum up
I
this
know,
episode.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'll do one last little shameless plug for World War Brick.
Oh, do
just
it. Yeah,
because
do
we've
it.
been really waiting on that. Obviously, it's already been canceled twice just since we decided to bring it back, and so that is going to be June of next year, the 12th through the 15th. I want to say are the dates for that. But we're going to go hard here in Minneapolis. We're really looking forward to kind of bringing back a military-specific building community. And I think that, you know, considering the past couple of years and some of the stuff that I've experienced, there's a lot of new faces here. There's a lot of new people who've come into this realm who know that it existed but haven't really decided to participate. And I'm really looking forward to, especially some of the day pass people showing up and getting to walk around and just seeing how tight-knit and how thrived this community is. And then we got a whole bunch of events and awesome stuff that we're getting ready to roll with. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Details obviously on brickmania.com.
And down below, because I'll put it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, in that case, Dylan, thank you for joining us in this episode. We appreciate everyone in BKM who supports this podcast because you guys have been amazing as far as coming on board and just supporting us in general.
So, yeah, you guys have a lot of fans here.
Oh, cool.
We love you.
Well, with that being said, someone roll that music and it's over. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you coming on, dude. That was good.
Absolutely. Anytime, let me know how it goes, and obviously I'll check it out once it's posted live.
It'll be live tonight.